The boxing community is in quite a predicament about who is truly the pound-for-pound #1 fighter. The most common choices for the spot are Naoya Inoue, Terence Crawford, and Oleksandr Usyk, and each one has a great claim for the spot, which I'll be breaking down and getting into later on in the video. But first, what is the pound-for-pound list? Pound-for-pound lists in combat sports is where people rank the top 10 to 15 fighters in the sport regardless of weight class. The main thing that pound-for-pound rankings is based off is resume. Pretty much who you have beat, and in boxing, how many weight classes have you won titles in, and how many titles have you held in your career. In boxing, there isn't just one promotion that everyone fights in like UFC, but instead multiple promotions in different countries, leaving the pound-for-pound list in the hands of fans in different companies. But the one that most boxing fans find most trustworthy is The Ring magazine, who currently have Oleksandr Usyk rated #1 pound-for-pound. But speaking of rankings, let's get into the pros and cons of each fighter of these three. Starting off with Naoya Inoue, who is rightfully nicknamed the Monster, as his timing, speed, and power combined is something that all opponents have to worry about. But getting into the pros of his resume is that he is undefeated, with a record of 24-0 with 21 knockouts. He is a 3-division champion, becoming champion in light flyweight, super flyweight, and bantamweight. And speaking of bantamweight, he is also an undisputed champion at bantamweight. And in his past few fights, he's done some big things, unifying the division by gaining the WBO and WBC bantamweight titles and defending his WBA and IBF titles a few times before that, and is scheduled to face #1 fighter at super bantamweight in Stephen Fulton. The last fact that I'd like to list as a pro is that he's finished 21 out of 24 of his opponents, which means that he's finished 87% of his wins. Some of the reasons as to why people want to have Inoue as their #1 guy on the pound-for-pound list is that he's at a lower weight class, meaning that he isn't as exposed to the casual fan. Another bad thing about this is that he is levels ahead of everyone else in the weight classes that he's competed in, meaning that before fights even start, he's already a pretty big favorite to win, and that reflects in the betting odds as he's been a favorite in every fight that he's competed in, with his upcoming fight being the closest the odds have ever been. That leads into my final point, which is we haven't seen him face any real threat in his career until now. The second out of the three that I will cover is Oleksandr Usyk, who is currently the unified heavyweight champion, holding 3 out of 4 of the major belts. He likes to use his movement combined with exceptional timing to beat his opponents. Some of the good things on his resume is that he, like Inoue, is one of 9 undisputed champions in the 4-belt era, and I'd say that his run is by far the toughest on this list. He is also undefeated, standing at 20-0, and something unique that Usyk has done is that he's fought in most of his opponents' home country, which many fighters nowadays can't say that they've done. In his past few fights, he gained all 4 of the major titles at cruiserweight to become the undisputed champion, went on to defend those titles by knocking out Tony Bellew in round 7, and then moving up to heavyweight where he had a tune-up fight before defeating tough veteran journeyman Derek Chisora by decision, and then winning his biggest fight to date against Anthony Joshua in North London. In his most recent fight, he defeated Anthony Joshua again by split decision in a fight that he nearly lost by a 10th round scare, but he was able to pull through and win it. Some of the cons of Usyk's resume is that at heavyweight he has kind of struggled, and this is expected with him moving up from cruiserweight, but it is something to watch out for as he's getting older. On to the final candidate, Terence "Bud" Crawford. Terence Crawford is the current WBO welterweight champion. Crawford has a great boxing brain, along with power and timing, which helps him finish fights. The switch hitter has finished 30 out of 39 of his opponents, and is also on a 10-fight knockout streak at the moment, finishing names such as Jeff Horn, Jose Benavidez Jr., and Sean Porter. His past few fights have been pretty lackluster, only fighting once a year against rather underwhelming opponents for the past 3 years. And it looks like that trend will continue this year, with the possibility of Crawford facing unified WBC, WBA, and IBF champion Errol Spence Jr. staying extremely low. In the past, Crawford has been an undisputed champion like others on his list. He has also stopped everyone that he's faced at welterweight and has been a world champion in 3 different weight classes as well. Another thing that I want to mention is that he's been on pound-for-pound lists consistently since 2015, but his resume has never had the big name, or he's never really been in that 50-50 fight throughout his career. But hopefully with a fight against Errol Spence Jr. for the undisputed championship, he can get that career-defining fight. So here's a chart to help you guys filter everything that I said and overall make it easier to choose your pound for pound number 1 guy. Comment down below if this video helped you guys choose a pound for pound number 1 guy, and if so, comment who. Thank you guys for watching. If you enjoyed this video, make sure that you like and subscribe, and peace. Have a great day.